Hi, everyone. I'm Barbara Wainwright, the CEO and founder of Wainwright Global Institute of Professional Coaching. And today I am here with Fred McMurray, and I'm going to share a little bit about his experiences. He is a self-described curmudgeon of tech with over 40 years of experience in the industry. Fred has worked for and owned a variety of technology businesses, and currently he's the CEO of Westvine in Grover Beach, California, which has provided marketing and website development services to hundreds of organizations since 2010. Inc. magazine lists Fred as one of the top social influencers since 2013. Fred's passion led him to developing a live streaming podcast services for people that struggle with technology. That's got to be a big help for people that are struggling with that. Fred is also the CEO and co-founder of the Linked Local Network. So Linked Local Network is a co-creator network for professionals who are seeking work-life spiritual balance. Now, that's something we can all relate to and desire, I would imagine. One of Fred's most valuable skills is people connector. He enjoys helping people make beneficial connections and use the insight and business acumen he developed over the years to form many successful partnerships, both for Westvine and for others. So I'm so excited to dive deeper here with Fred. Let's start with welcome, Fred.
Welcome. I'd like to meet this dude. Oh, sorry.
That's awesome.
I got to give my biographer a raise there. I sound good.
Oh gosh. So the first question I have for you is who and what is Westvine? And so what does that company do? What is their primary thing that they take care of?
So back in the dark ages of digital marketing, way back 14, 15 years ago when no one knew what it was, or we started out life. And over the years, our clients came to us and said, well, can you design this billboard? Can you do these business cards? Can you write this case study? Can you do this car wrap? And uh, I was raised with the idea of the customer. You say yes.
Yeah, that's right. I love that. Yes, I can.
And then you go figure it out.
Exactly.
I spent 25 years doing technology, and it was always, we need to go figure this out, go figure it out. So I kind of brought that same um, methodology to when my partner started the marketing company. So we started out life as digital age, and then we migrated into this. We're a marketing company, full service marketing company. Specialty is um, digital ADA compliant websites, and most recently, um, outsourced podcasting live streaming.
I love that. So I'm not exactly sure what that means. So you help people who don't want to do the technical aspect, but they have a really good radio voice or video voice and they want to get out and share their message, live stream it or podcast it, but they don't really want to deal with the technical side because it's just too much.
So I've said before, I have most of my clients are people that are not good at technology, and I'm much better at yelling at tech support than they are.
Okay. It's all about I think with tech support, a lot of it has to do with asking the right questions with tech or stating the correct issue. Because if you say, you know what, it's not working, it doesn't help a tech guy.
No, it doesn't. But there's also a third part there. And
Okay.
that is people on these help desks are graded on how quickly they get people off the phone.
Oh my gosh. Wow. I did not know that.
And I've been known, I remember one case recently where I was on the phone. I finally knew I wasn't going to get what I needed. I asked to be escalated,
Yes.
refused, and I said, fine, I'll hang up. I hung up, I dialed in again, went through the same rigmarole, wouldn't get escalated, said, fine, Now I'm getting honked. And I hung up. Third time, I got somebody goes, oh yeah, all you gotta do is do this, 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 and go to this menu. And I thanked them for it. And I said, um, just a bit of advice for a cranky old tech dude. You need to, you're the third one I've gotten to before I got this. You guys need to do better training. And he actually apologized to me
Wow.
and said, we've got a lot of new people, so on and so forth. So it's some, I had a same type of thing this past week with a client where I knew what they were telling me was wrong, but you couldn't
Yeah.
get them to escalate. So all you could do is wait 24 hours. And then when it didn't work, I could call back in and go, bleepity bleep, bleep, bleep. And oh, well, let me transfer you here. Oh, we reinitialized this. It may take, and it was ready in 15 minutes.
Oh my goodness. So it makes a huge difference when you have somebody that already has technical expertise and languaging to deal with the technical support people. So I think that's brilliant. So you're handling the technical hassles and underlying technologies for people that want to get themselves out there but don't want to deal with that. I love that. I love that. Tell me a little bit about Linked Local Network. What is that? I understand you're launching a new internet radio station in May.
In May we are. It's KPHRED.
Whoa, KPHRDE.
RED, PHRED. You pronounce it, you get the joke. And one of my clients suggested that, and I had to go with it. I had started with a partner many, many years ago, the Link Local Network, as I did at that point in time. The idea was a syndication peer network for
Okay.
creators, and it's limped along. And finally, earlier this year, I had enough people wanting to do. I've always been in love with morning or at night radio. You drive in the car, you listen to the radio, and
Yes.
that's how I started podcasting. And
Okay.
not everyone's ready to do that full blown live stream thing because, well, there's a lot more effort
Yes.
when having a producer like me helps. So you can the podcaster can focus on the guest rather than the technology. And so I decided after I had a prototype system up for this for the last couple of years. Working with my ISP last year, we agreed he'd build me the special server I needed, and we're almost there.
All
So
right.
launch well, technically it's a soft launch probably next week, but we're not telling anybody that because I'm paranoid of things breaking.
Right. Oh my God. Sorry, I remember in my software days, we developed something, we get it going, and the very first test was called the abort test because it was most likely gonna abort right in the middle. Oh gosh.
It's one of those things of, yeah, I told everyone we're going to do a soft launch.
Yeah, okay, got it.
Last thing I want to do is hype everything to the universe and then no one hears anything.
Yes. Oh my gosh, I understand.
Very, very bad. So I've actually been blown away because I started talking to people and it was like people jumping on me going, please, can I have a show? Can I have a show? Can I have a show?
Oh my gosh.
The point where for approved shows, we've decided as a thank you for joining, they get the first 3 months free.
Nice.
And they get a 2-hour slot. They can do it what I call live or Memorex.
Okay.
I'm a person. I remember those. Is it live or is it Memorex?
I remember that too.
So I am one of the first shows, one of the first people I talked to literally sent me last night his first episode telling me, listen to it. Tell me how you think it is. It's like, oh, great, folks. This is self-service. I'm not supposed to be involved other than doing training. But so that
Right.
next month, and ultimately I got 168 hours of a week of programming to fill, although I have lots and lots of programming from past, but my ultimate goal is to fill it up with, 80 some show hosts who can get their word out, at least audio wise, because I know standing when I'm on my treadmill at the gym, there
Mhm.
are a lot of people listening with headsets to something, or you see them driving the car, and that's when people like to listen.
Yes, yes, it's so true. I do remember I haven't had to journey to work for a long time, but when I did, it was an hour. And so I had okay, cassette tapes.
Mhm.
And then I had CDs, and then you can plug the phone in and get whatever you want. But yeah, it's been a long time since I've done that. But that was my favorite time to tune in, and you can't really read while you're driving. And it's sometimes I just really love the silence, but after a while, even that gets old. So you gotta tune into something.
And it's one of those people, I think that the problem with video is always that most people, if they've got video going, they're going to watch it.
Yeah, that's not good. Yeah.
Whereas with audio, I mean, I'm known to leave the TV on just for background noise. I'll have my headset on listening to something because I can work while listening. It's
Yes.
harder to work while watching.
Oh yeah. Yeah, I agree. I know exactly what you're talking about. I love having something humming in the background. I'll say humming because I love the megahertz, those high frequency megahertz that really are uplifting and they just help you get dialed in and focused. So let me ask this. I think this is so fascinating. So you've created a channel, if you will, for a radio station, we're calling
Mhm.
it, right? For people that want to do podcasting, and it's launching in a few months or a few weeks, sorry. That's May of 2024, in case you're watching this and it's older for you. So this is really very exciting. That's going to really help people. So one of the other things that you said you were doing with Westfine
Mhm.
was providing that technical support and helping people so those two companies, it seems like, are going to work hand in hand together.
Yeah. So Wes Fine is the creative, and actually the outsourced podcast or live streaming stuff goes through Wes Fine,
Okay.
because with the internet radio station, the software we're using is actually in use by quite a few terrestrial radio stations.
Okay.
Want to get to a wider audience, so we're in good company.
Nice.
We're battling the powers of traditional media on the internet. Um, but when you start looking at live streaming, now you're adding video in it, and
Right.
that getting it out to all the different places you can get it out to, that becomes, I know how long it took me to start to master it, and the average person does not want to go through that ramp up. They'll
Yes.
Facebook live, or they'll do a YouTube. But when you're trying to hit YouTube and Facebook and Instagram or Twitter or a buttload of other places,
Right, right.
now it gets far more difficult, complex.
Yes, it's complex. It's complex to be live streaming to multiple outlets. And then, the live streaming is just one thing, but then if you wanted to pre-record a video and edit it and have it be a little more interesting and fun, in that case, you still want to post it everywhere. But again, that's a big undertaking.
So even if you're going to edit it, you can stream it.
Right, right. You can still live stream it. Yeah, like a podcast.
Right. And the reason I recommend most people do that is most of the platforms have some type of notification algorithm. So if you're going to quote, stream it out by people,
Yeah. Yeah,
but
that's great.
if you're just uploading it, they won't. And then
Right.
someplace LinkedIn's even trickier, because with LinkedIn, you can stream video, but you can stream a 4-hour video to LinkedIn.
Oh my gosh.
But if you want to upload one, you're limited to 15 minutes.
Oh my goodness. Okay. Yeah. So that's the other thing. There's so many gotchas out there that it really is nice to have somebody that is familiar with all that. And you just say, hey, you know what, here's the video, or I'm ready to go live stream and be done, and not have to think about all those little glitches that can happen because it can, there's a lot out there. I know that. So I understand Westfine also does marketing, right? So can you share a little bit about that?
So, like I said, we started out as digital marketing and we
Okay.
do a lot of that. But for that small business person, that coach, that author, um, uh, even the speaker, they don't want to do websites. And,
True that. Yeah.
and some of them will. They'll. I won't mention a platform or two where you can go and do it free.
Oh my gosh, yes.
And I get doing a free website. It sounds really wonderful. It's free, free, free. The problem is that would you go the same way with would you look for a cardiologist the same way?
Right.
Or even a tax accountant. Most small businesses, they're going to go to a tax accountant. Why? They could do it free, but there's that expertise there. As one of my clients, one of my authors says, I don't know what I don't know. And that's why I pay you to know what I don't know.
Exactly, exactly. So I think that's very important. And I understand the free websites have a lot of attraction because they're no cost. But you know what? Getting your own domain name, very inexpensive.
Mhm.
And then having somebody that has that technical expertise to use your own domain name and create a website for you, again, isn't going to be an arm and a leg. I mean, back in the day, it might have been very expensive, but now the technology is such that it's almost plug and play, and it's not that difficult if you have a little technical expertise. But if you don't, hey, it's still not going to be, you're not going to have to sell your firstborn in order to get a website up these days, which is, yeah.
Yeah.
Uh,
To me, every once in a while I get somebody else like, well, my Facebook is the main page. And I always like to ask those people, what happens when Facebook takes a dislike to you?
Exactly. And you know what? I'll just share with you. I have a really good friend that had his Facebook account shut down last week and he still can't get it back. So that's a really important thing. You think that, well, like MySpace, right? People invested in MySpace and then I don't even know. Is it still around? Maybe. I don't know.
I don't know.
I don't know either.
Well,
Exactly. That's the point. And so, it's like that could happen to Facebook. It wouldn't be, I mean, it happened to MySpace. It could happen to Facebook. But the other thing is they shut down people's accounts sometimes without even having
warning.
a good reason, and I'll just say another friend of mine had their Google business page shut down. And it's just random, like I said, well, what'd you do? You're like, I didn't do anything. Oh my gosh, I don't know why they shut it down. So it's a big deal to get those things back. So having your own domain and having it on a server that, or doing it with somebody that like and trust, it's like, it's okay. It's secure. Nothing's going to happen to it. And, you don't have to worry about it. Now you can use that domain to push people to wherever you want them to go. It could be to a landing page or it could be to your home page, but you're in control and you don't have to worry about, I don't know, Facebook, Google, the higher ups just going, hey, squash. you, you no longer have access. What? Oh
They
my
take
gosh.
this liking to you and you're toast.
Yeah.
Uh, I literally, in resolving one issue, for a client, I literally ended up having Facebook call me. And as far as I know, no one I've ever met has ever been called by Facebook.
I don't know anyone.
All of a sudden I'm in some rarefied air of I've actually talked to an official Facebook. Uh, Took them 4 freaking months to get the issue resolved, but I did talk to somebody.
Yeah, 4 months though. Come on. It's like, oh my gosh. So I'm just curious, who are your clients? Is it coaches and speakers and authors or just people that have a message or
So we get a lot of coaches, we get a lot of speakers, a lot of authors, and a lot of small business folks. Uh,
Mhm.
while I've had clients up to 500 million in revenue, what I find is the larger the clients, over about 5 million in revenue for a standard business, they tend to have in-house resources,
Oh
and
yeah.
they'll bring you in for a project. But I have one client that's about 2.5 million a year, and he's been my client for 14 years.
Wow, yeah. So that says a lot about you. That's wonderful that you've got that longevity with clients. That really says a lot about your expertise and that you are making sure that your clients are happy. I love that. I love that. So with your coaches, speakers, authors, what are their biggest challenges when they're getting out there and trying to get out in the marketplace and get known?
So most of the time, their digital marketing sucks. The website, if there is one, well, it's usually on one of those free places that they're kind
Um,
of set up like a template. So
yeah,
it looks like everybody else's.
yeah.
And since they have no clue on search engine optimization or anything like that, it's just kind of sitting there going, please look at me. Uh,
Yes.
and what they don't get is they write that book, they put all that effort into that wonderful book. And then it's like, well, I don't know what to do. And
So
my
true.
partner said early on in our career, she came up with the phrase of consistency plus frequency is equal to visibility.
Wow, I love that. That's really good. Consistency and frequency equals visibility. That's really good.
And it's true because, and that's one of the reasons why when I talk to people about podcasting, some of them will want to drop once a month. And my standard marking says it takes 8 to 12 people, 8 to 12 views before somebody buys. Okay.
Right.
It's what I call the Larson corollary. A friend of mine's a PhD in marketing, and he'll tell you people only see one out of every three things you post,
That
which
makes
means you got to post 24 to 36 times before you can get it into somebody's thick skull what you're talking about.
it's so true. Oh gosh.
And the authors will go, well, I wrote a book. That's like, yeah, now what you're going to do about it?
Yeah. You
So,
got to get out there.
and that's true. And it's sometimes it, and that's what I love about live streaming for authors, because if they do it right, then um they are literally interviewing people that they're going to be able to leverage the people who are the people that they're interviewing. They're going to be able to leverage that person's network,
Yes.
because I haven't met anyone who's ever been a guest on a podcast who did not want to push out the fact that they were a guest on that podcast.
Absolutely, absolutely. It's something that I've done guests on podcasts. I'm sharing that with my audience too, because who knows, they might be interested in hearing about coaching from a different aspect than they heard about in the class, or a different aspect that they're thinking about becoming a coach, but they want to know me better. So I'm sharing it with my list and my social media and everywhere.
Exactly. And that's what I find a lot of coaches and authors, speakers get it better.
Yeah, makes
But
sense.
the coaches and the authors, they've got this. Well, I've got my certification.
Yeah,
I've written my book. Shouldn't everyone come to me? It's like,
yeah.
no,
It doesn't work like that.
you got to go out and beat the um what's the phrase, rushes or whatever, to get people to read, to engage. Um, I did a pre-record earlier today for one of my authors, and he was interviewing an author who's also a client of mine. And
Nice.
when the guest said, yeah, and in your book, you actually mentioned the same thing, and the guest literally referenced the host book, and you could just see the host go, just his reaction was, "You read my book? Like and you're pointing back?" And he was like, "Mm." And so that's what I love about it, because it's regular timed content that
Yes.
it's not even has to doesn't even have to be your content, because literally you're interviewing somebody from your position, your perspective, and they're providing the content for you to shove out so other people want to come and see you.
Absolutely, absolutely. I think it's a really great thing. First of all, being the interviewer, you learn so much. So that's why, I love doing these interviews, because I get to learn so much. First, I love people, so I get to learn about you as a person, but I also get to learn about the difference that you're making in the world, and you are making a huge difference. And I love that. So I think being a host is really valuable. You're providing value, and it's valuable to you as a person because it develops you as well. And then being a guest is also great, because again, you get to meet the host and share your knowledge with them and their audience, and bring your audience to them. So it's really a great way to get yourself out there, to get what you're doing out there, and become known. And I love that you're providing that technical expertise for people, so that there's not if somebody wants to do it, now they have an avenue. They don't have to go and study all this stuff, how to make it happen. They just call Fred. Call Fred, and he'll help you get it done. I love that.
That's people ask me, what do I got to do? And I say, if you're smart enough to sit in front of a Zoom window and talk and sound intelligent, we can take care of the rest.
I love it. So would you say that the biggest marketing challenge that your clients are facing today is getting out there and getting known, or what would you say that is?
Any businesses nowadays is getting known. You I remember the days of Facebook where I could post something on my Facebook page and I'd get 20-25% response rate from the audience. And when there's close to 5,000 there, that's a huge response.
Yeah.
And yet 2012 was a big year where they changed the algorithm and response went down.
Yes.
The more Facebook or LinkedIn, Twitter, you pick your platform,
Yeah.
Instagram,
Yeah.
um, the more they want to make more money, the more the organic, the more the organic growth or view goes down.
Right. Exactly. Exactly. So, boy, what would you say is, I mean, marketing is always changing. So right there, you just nailed a big piece of it. The organic views are way down because they want people to pay for their advertising.
Mhm.
So there's that. I mean, that's just crushing, but it's a fact. What would you say are new and emerging marketing trends right now?
So the biggest, um, so I see, with respect in what I'll call traditional marketing, and this has a bleed over into the future of marketing, but it's the two big things for years have been a some type of video podcast, live stream, video shorts, whatever. That's still a huge one. The other one that I tend to see a lot of is a book. There are literally courses out there where people will tell you, I will help you write a book in one night.
Oh my
Or,
gosh, I've seen those. Okay, yes.
or there's you can, I was at an AI summit, and one guy literally wrote a 15-page book with AI during the summit.
Yep.
And so the whole AI thing starts to seep in here. And it's a very powerful tool. Um, and I tend to approach it by one of the greatest tools mankind ever developed uh, was by a guy who ended up, I think, founding the Nobel Peace Prize, Alfred Nobel. who
Oh,
invented
wow. Wow. Okay. And what did he?
it. He invented dynamite.
Oh my gosh. Oh my God.
So, and when you look at dynamite, if it weren't for dynamite, we wouldn't have the cities we have. We wouldn't have the construction,
Right.
roads. Dynamite helped create, besides revolutionizing warfare, it actually helped create civilization. Now, given that that's a really powerful tool, would you want to put a stick of dynamite in everyone's hands?
No. And that's kind of AI, isn't it? Yeah. It can be so dangerous. And I think, it's kind of exciting because it's a whole new thing, but man, can it be dangerous. And I know that Elon Musk has talked about that somewhat. And I just don't how do you contain it? How do you monitor it? How do you fix the threat of AI? I don't know.
See, eh, I am in some senses a Luddite because I what I hear about AI now, I heard about the same things about computers back in the mid 80s when I got my
Okay.
first computer.
Okay.
And in that time, computers have gotten smarter,
Yes.
but people have gotten stupider.
Well, technology is such a crutch, right? Because now I don't have to read a map. I just go, I want to go to this address, tell me how to get there. So it's a crutch, but it's also a blessing, kind of, if the crutch went away, though, wow, would we have some big problems?
So let me ask you this. You use cell phone. You use cell phone. True. Uh,
Yes.
I think it was last year, I had gotten a new cell phone, and as I've been known to, I broke the screen.
Oh my gosh. Okay. Yep.
Rather than going out and buying a new one, I actually found a place locally that did screen replacements.
Yeah.
And I got one of those, and it was the smartest thing I ever did because I've dropped that thing 3 dozen times since then. If I'd done it beforehand, I would have had 3 dozen new phones.
Right.
So the new screen's better than the ones they put on, which annoys me.
Yes.
But the point behind this was I spent 4 days without a cell phone.
Wow. Okay. So that was interesting for you, I'm sure.
Now, most of the time when I talk to clients, I'll talk to them through a computer.
Me too.
And I have way too many computers in my life. They're everywhere.
I understand.
But there's still that thing of we've gotten into it. Well, you see people walking along the street going like this, grabbing
Yes.
where the cars are. There, what? Yeah,
Yeah.
I'm looking at my phone. Doesn't matter. I'm crossing the street. Um, so think about if we went back to the um, not having your phone for 4 or 5 days because then I couldn't look at it. Then I couldn't kill time with it.
Right. Oh my gosh.
I stayed away from the news. I was also happier. Um,
Oh my gosh.
so technology is wonderful, but unfortunately, too often we let it do our thinking for us.
That's not good. Yeah, that's not good. We need to exercise our brains too.
Exactly. And actually, that's one of my biggest fears because there have been studies that have shown that um, kids, and I mean high schoolers, grade schoolers, are using like Chat GPT to do their homework.
Oh my gosh.
And while they're good at getting the tech to use their homework, they're not learning how to think.
Though, I have to say this, Fred, that I believe from my education, thinking about, grade school and high school, they aren't teaching kids how to think. They never were teaching kids how to think. They were telling them what to think and telling them what to learn and telling. And it wasn't until you get to college that there's the hint of you need to think for yourself. What do you think about this? What do you think about that? What's your theory about this? What's your theory about that? So I don't know that our, at least in the United States, that our education system in the United States was necessarily wanting people to think.
So I understand what you're saying, and I can't, I won't argue that. What I will say though is anybody who ever had to write their own term paper,
Yeah.
they learned how to go in and research it. They
Yes.
how to write it. They learned format, or they got that,
Yes.
minus on the
Yeah,
paper. Um,
exactly.
so and that taught them how to problem solve. Where
Yes.
if the computer, you just say, write me this paper, doesn't teach kids how to, and that's artificial intelligence is no match for natural stupidity.
Gosh. Oh, well, that and I also it I don't know how to say it. It's machine. So
Mhm.
it's machine language. So it's machine talking. It's not, it doesn't have that natural feel.
Exactly. And now the push is, ooh, we can do customer service
Mm.
through AI. IBM says we'll get customer service right 90% of the time. And I sit there and I'm thinking, so I'm going to pay you god awful amounts of money so you can be right to my customers 90% of the time? Don't I want to be right to my customers, giving them support 100% of the time?
That would be great. Yeah.
And I get with some of the tech support I deal with that, yeah, they ain't gonna get 90.
Like your story earlier. That was you gotta had to wait for your top tier guy to get the right answer. So
And so I learned in my early on career to be before the internet was the internet, when it was something else, how to go out and find tech support groups and ICQs and listservs to and talk to people all over the world in various chats, because IBM Online Support, Microsoft Online Support, and a few others I could name sucked. So you had to find those people who knew who had been through that
yes,
problem.
yes, exactly, exactly. And here's the sad part about that. There shouldn't be a problem in the first place if their quality control was doing their job. Then there wouldn't be a problem in the first place.
Yeah, let's not go into talking about.
Right? Okay. I know that just brings back so many memories for me. So, my next question for you is, let's say I'm an author, speaker, or a coach, and I'm out there and I'm getting ready to let people know who I am and what I do. What would you think would be their next best move? I mean, let's say they were coming to you. What would you advise them would be their next best step to take with you as at Westfine and LLC?
So what that's kind of a strange question. I'm taking West Vine out of it. I
Okay.
understand your niche. Understand the difference between inbound marketing and outbound marketing.
Okay.
I've been done too many speaking engagements, talk to people, and I'll ask, how many of you would say your best customer is everyone?
Hmm.
And everyone raises their hand. Yeah, I can handle everyone. I can handle everyone. And
Right. You want to. It makes it sound like, oh yeah, I got this. I could.
I can do that. I want to market to everyone. I said,
Yeah.
okay, I get that.
Good
So
luck.
that each lead costs you $10.
Yes.
Right?
Right. Yep.
How many people have $74.8 billion for a marketing budget?
Yeah. I guess that's what it takes to market to everybody.
You know what?
Yeah.
Never had anybody raise their hand.
Yeah. That's
I keep
okay.
looking for it because that person, I'm going to win. So when you're marketing, everyone's got X amount of 99.9% of people have X amount they can put to marketing, to everything else.
Right.
And there is uh, a strong push that you want to do everything because that way it doesn't cost anything. So what I look at this is that brings two issues. One, There's a difference between inbound marketing and outbound. Inbound, somebody calls you up and says, Fred, I need you to do a car wrap on this fleet of cars. Sure, not a problem. I don't want to go out and try to market to everybody who wants a car wrap.
Yeah.
So when I look at the live streaming services, I have gone from I can do it from everyone to the people that I see that are most likely to want to use it to grow their business would be coaches,
Yes.
small business folks. Because if you can sit somebody talk to them for 20 minutes about something non-business related, non-sales related, you come up to somebody and say, I want to sell you something. They go like this. I do. I
Right, right.
pull my White Sox baseball bat and stay away from me. I walk up to somebody and say, I'd like to have you as a guest on a podcast. They go, ooh. And then I or the host gets to talk to them for 25, 30, 40 minutes and establish rapport. And then it becomes a much better way to sign business. So that's that. But now you're targeting the people you really want to do business with so that your efforts aren't going out across the masses. So it's this inbound versus outbound that most speakers, coaches, authors, small business folks never ever understand. They're still trying to win everyone. So
Yeah, and it's just everyone is not good. And with the coaching thing, especially, there's like more than 50 different coaching niches that coaches can work in. Pick one. Pick one. Where's your passion? What is it that you love to do? Go there, right? Yes.
exactly, because you're not going to get to everybody. You say I'm a coach, and people go,
It's true. Oh,
Denise Estigal, who you'll meet. She is curator of Living Healthy List, but she has gone to the I'm a longevity coach.
there you go.
And I can tell you, in all the coaches I've ever met, I think I've only heard of one other person aiming on that niche. And that's a phenomenal niche. Who
It
doesn't want
is.
a long time?
Exactly, exactly. You're right. That's a really good one.
Getting your niche is critical so you know where to market.
Yes, right.
All right. And then the other thing is that if you're a really good coach, does that make you a great marketer?
No, most likely not at all. That's the thing. Heart-centered people, all we want to do is be of service and make a difference in the world. And now, how do I do that? How do I get the message out there that I'm here to be of service and provide value to you and help you live a life of your dreams? Okay, now how do I get that out there?
Exactly. So usually that helps to sit down with somebody and
Yes.
ideas off of and ask. Um, oh, we picked up a client recently, and um, uh, I said to him, I want to do this. I want to interview your clients. And they're like, okay. And I got to do a phenomenal interview with a woman named Grace Malloy, who literally could call me kid and get away with it because she was 100.
Oh my goodness.
Reoriented my world on the idea of living a long time.
Yes, she must have that longevity coach.
Need to connect them because she's my longevity coach. But these things went so well that when my partner and I walked in there on St. Patrick's Day, our contact was, I think, the general manager, walked up with his arms open wide. And I let my partner go ahead because, she's a woman and he can hug her. I want both of you. And he wrapped his arms and enveloped both of us and said, thank you.
Oh, wow.
So it's and it happened because literally we were sitting in front of each other, bouncing ideas off, asking questions. Because what do you want? What do you want to do marketing wise? Well, we don't know. We want to do something that works. Well, have you done this? What about, and that's where marketing wise, it helps have somebody else to talk to because
Yes,
unless you're a marketing person,
true.
you don't know what you know. And this is the same thing if you're going to do taxes or legal stuff, you're going to go talk to somebody who does it all the time because hopefully they know what they're talking about.
Right. And then, you can, I think a good measure of a marketer's success is their client's success. So that's, I think you'd want to look at, what is the success of the clients that are going to that marketer and really do your research. I think researching is so important. Like you said, it's like you go to chat GPT, you're not really diving into the research aspect of it. And I think that's so important when you're getting ready to venture into anything, coaching even, if you're going to become a coach, check out the different companies that are teaching you how to be a coach. What are their results like? What are their coaches up to? What are they doing? Now you can see if you have a chance to be successful by going through that company, so it's really important. Well, I think it's getting close to time to wrap up. And what I'd like to ask you now is, what message would you like to leave with our audience?
Ooh, what would I like to? No, I can't say that. That would be bad. Um,
As you can tell, Fred's got a great sense of humor. You'll want to spend some time with him.
what I'd like to say is you need to have fun.
Yes, absolutely.
We're talking business. So I guess what I'll say is you don't know what you don't know, and you can learn it. But I was at an AI event and there was a web developer there that was touting their AI design theme, color theme,
Mm,
and they flashed up an example of it. And I'd mentioned ADA compliant websites before. And I went, and I took that link and I put it into one of the checkers. And that color scheme failed.
right. Oh gosh.
They would Anybody buying this wonderful developed theme now gets to wait for a lawyer to come knocking on their door because they're not ADA compliant. Now, the point in this is while the web developer knew how to develop websites, he didn't know what he didn't know.
Exactly. Exactly. There you go again.
He jumped into it. So if you're going to go out and find a marketing person, make sure that they can talk with you, because if you can talk with them for a while, 30 minutes, whatever, you can figure out if there's rapport there, because that's
Yes,
literally what you're looking for in your marketing person is
I
somebody
agree.
who can listen to you and say, you say this, what do you think about this, and this?
Yep. I think too, you want a marketer who not only can have that rapport, but believes in what you're doing. Because if you're trying to get somebody to market on something that they're just like, I'm having a hard time with that. That's that's a showstopper right there. So you want somebody that can believe in what it is that you're trying to market and present to the world, and somebody that has that experience, and somebody that has evidence that they're successful at doing what they do. I think those three things are important, and I know that you have all those three things out there too. So it's important for people to know that.
The one thing I would say is, and I'm well known for this. There's people who will tell you never ask me a question you don't want an answer to because
Oh,
a blunt answer. And too many people want sunshine blowing up their
yeah.
nut. So if that's what you want, make sure your marketing person can do that. But I would tell you, you want somebody that can potentially offend you by saying, that's a horrible idea.
Yes, absolutely. Absolutely.
They're coming from some place where they know you something you don't. And it comes back to you don't know what you don't know. And you really don't want to go through the pain and agony of learning it. You,
Exactly. Exactly. Yeah. And you think about marketing, the people that are doing marketing have years invested in marketing. It's there, and it's so deep. It's not like, it is like being a medical doctor. You need to know so many different avenues. You need to know technology. You need to know copywriting. You need to know visual presentation. And like you mentioned a minute ago, you need to know the ADA so that things can be, it's like there, it is so deep. There's so much to it. It's not like, okay, I can go do my own marketing, right? I mean, it's like, okay, I want to be my own medical doctor. I don't think so. I don't want to do my own surgery. No thanks. Right. So yeah, it's important and it's deep. So you want to get somebody that has the experience and the knowledge and the evidence that they're successful at what they do, and then jump in.
Make sure they got a sense of humor. That helps.
Truly, it's got to be fun, or I don't want to do it. That's the way I see it. Yeah. All right. Is there anything else you'd like to share? Okay, so here I know the best way to get a hold of Fred is through LinkedIn, and we're going to put his connection to LinkedIn. You could search for him. You could search Fred McMurray in LinkedIn, and we're going to put the link in the chat below this video so that you can click it and get a hold of him. And anything else you'd like to share?
I hope I haven't been boring.
Oh my gosh. Okay. So I haven't been bored for a second. So local link, oh, sorry, linked local network. We're going to be watching out for that. And we're going to be checking out Westfine to see what's new on the horizon with Net Westfine. Is there anything else, any new projects that you want to share about real quick before we go?
I will just mention with KPHRED, otherwise known as KFred, we do have open show slots. So if people think that they want to do again, it's do-it-yourself radio, internet radio. Your shows do-it-yourself.
Okay.
So other than the monthly fee, you get to, you're your own producer, things like that.
Okay.
Are taking applications for interesting shows and interesting people.
Nice. Okay. And so here's how easy this is to create your own podcast and be your own producer. All right. If you are familiar with running a Zoom meeting and pressing record, then you can run your own podcast. It's not that hard. Once you're done with recording your Zoom meeting, you send the recording over to Fred, and then what happens?
So usually, actually, I will sit in, if we're just talking about KFred,
Okay.
to upload it. They have their own DJ interface. They have their own page on the KFred site. Teach them how to use it. Give them, there's a calendar they'll be able to put stuff in. There's a user forums where they can post topics to
Nice.
audience can do that, and it's all pretty much a self-service type of thing, because that's literally how I learn, and we try to simplify it.
Nice. Nice.
And it's far easier. So while I do get, obviously, one of my brand new show hosts wanted some feedback on it, most of the time, once we get you started, you don't got to talk to me unless you want to talk to me.
That's great. All right. So it sounds like it's a easy thing to do, and it's a great way to get yourself known and out there. And with this new, I guess, say, distribution channel, KFred, people will be able to upload their podcast and get themselves out there and get known. I love it. All right. Thank you so much for your time, your expertise. I really think you've got a wealth of knowledge and can provide so much value to somebody who's looking to get their expertise out there as well. And I appreciate your time. Thank you so much, Fred.
I had a good time. Thank you.
All right. Bye, everyone.